Welcome to the St. Tammany Parish Planning Commission meeting of August the 8th. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Seeger. Here. Truxillo. Ress. Here. McInnes.
Here.
Gaines. Here. Doherty.
Here.
Crawford.
Here.
Troncoso.
Here.
Hernandez.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Public announcements, please silence all phones and electronic devices. If you disagree with any decisions that the commission makes, you have the right to appeal it to the council. Appeal forms are over on the railing there to my right. Speaker cards, if you wish to speak on any case, you need to fill out a speaker card. Otherwise, we won't recognize you. And down at the bottom of the speaker card, there's a it says I am for or wish to speak, against, I do not wish to speak, and other. Please mark one of those so we know what you're wanting to do. Public speaking, 10 minutes each side and 5 minutes for rebuttal. After your case is heard, you're welcome to leave the building or you can stay, either way. Please rise for the invocation by Commissioner Seeger and the pledge by Commissioner Crawford.
Dear God, we thank you for the abundant blessings you have so generously bestowed upon us here in St. Tammany Parish. We pray for your continued blessings for our elected officials, appointees, and employees of St. Tammany. Thank you especially for our law enforcement, EMS, and medical employees who have frequently prioritized their professional duties ahead of their personal lives and families. Dear Father, please bless our educators, school personnel, parents, and especially our students as they begin this school year. Guide them and protect them that they might grow into productive members of our great society, not just another brick in the wall. We humbly beseech your guidance as we endeavor to make decisions that are in the best interest of our fair parish and all of her citizens. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Commissioners, in your packet there was the minutes from last month, July the 13th meeting. We need a motion. Commissioner Crawford.
Motion to accept the minutes.
Motion by Commissioner Crawford to accept the minutes as presented. Commissioner Ress.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Ress. Please vote.
The motion to accept the minutes carries.
All right. Ellen, do we have any cases be postponed?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Item number 2 on page 1, 2023-3444 MSP. There's a request to postpone for one month.
Okay. Let me read it and we'll get on down the road here with it. Minor subdivision review. It's 2023-3444-MSP. Minor subdivision of parcel A1 into parcels A1A and A1B. Owner and representative is Olivier Braswell Properties LLC, Brian Olivier and Todd Braswell. Surveyor is Duplantis Design Group PC. Parish Council District Representatives Honorable Marty Dean. General location, the property is located on the west side of Louisiana Highway 21, south of Keys Road, and on the north of Lane Road, Covington, Ward 1, District 1. Mr. Maroon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the commission, Paul Maroon on behalf of Doctors Olivier and Brazil. This resub case is linked with and tied to the plan review case for the same property that was on your zoning commission agenda last week. You may recall that that case was tabled because we're still working through some of the issues with the staff. Since these two are linked, we want to make sure and keep the plan review ahead of this resub. So we'd ask that the resub be tabled until next month's meeting, so we'll have the opportunity to have the plan review hearing before you hear the resub request.
Okay. Anyone in the audience have a problem with postponing this? Close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Crawford.
Motion to postpone for 1 month.
Motion by Commissioner Crawford to postpone for 1 month. Commissioner Ress.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Ress. Please vote.
The motion to postpone for 1 month carries.
Item number 8 on page 2. Just want to bring to your attention that item number 8, 2023-3454 MRP has been withdrawn. No action required on the part of the Planning Commission. Just want to bring it to your attention and make sure that everyone in the audience is aware of it.
Okay, so we don't need to take any action on it then, right?
That's correct. Just want to make sure that no one is in the audience and waiting for it. It's been withdrawn.
Okay.
And we have a request to postpone for 1 month, item number 10, 2023-3470 MRP.
Okay. This is case number 2023-3470 MRP, re-subdivision of Lot 39 and Green Space 6 into lots 39A, 49, 48, and 49, Wingfield subdivision, owner and representative, Tammany North Properties LLC, Robert Bruno, surveyors John G. Cummings and Associates, Parish Council District Representative Honorable Martha Casabon. General location, the property is located on the south and west sides of Crossvine Drive, west of Bayham Road, Covington, Ward 1, District 3. Commissioner McInnes.
Yes. Is there anyone here representing that?
No, I spoke to Mr. Bruno. As you can see on the staff report, there's some items, a list of information requested, and at this time, it's not ready to be presented to us. So Mr. Bruno is requesting to postpone the case for 1 month to give him sufficient time and his team to provide the required information.
Okay, I'll move to postpone.
Motion by Commissioner McInnes to postpone for 1 month. Commissioner Gaines.
I second.
Second by Commissioner Gaines. Any further discussion? Please vote.
The motion to postpone for 1 month carries.
Item 11, 2023-3417 TP, Jessica Estate subdivision, request to postpone for 1 month.
Okay. Item 11. Okay, this is cases 2023-3417 TP, Jessica Estate subdivision, developer owner, First Horizon Incorporated, engineer surveyors McLean Taylor Incorporated, Parish Council District Representative, Honorable Marty Dean. General location, the property is located on the northwest side of Rex Avenue, north of Brewster Road, west of Louisiana Highway 1077, south of Interstate 12, Madisonville, Ward 1, District 1. This was postponed at the July 11th meeting. Mr. Maroon.
Thank you, Mr. Doherty. On behalf of First Horizon Incorporated, as you'll see in your staff report, the staff has recommended postponing this case for 1 additional month. The staff is still reviewing the traffic impact analysis. This will give them time to do that. There are still some issues that we are working through from planning comments and some engineering comments that the additional 30 days will allow us to hopefully complete and have that back for you in September. So in accordance with the staff's recommendation, we concur with that, would ask you to concur with that as well, and table the matter for an additional 30 days to your September meeting.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Morone. Anyone in the audience wish to make any comments on this? I'm going to close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Crawford.
Make a motion to postpone for 1 month.
Motion by Commissioner Crawford to postpone for 1 month. Commissioner Troncoso.
Second it.
Second by Commissioner Troncoso. Please vote.
The motion to postpone for 1 month carries.
Item number 12, 2023-3375 PP, Providence Park. Request to postpone for 1 month.
Okay. 2023-3375-PP.
Were there cards for Jessica?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the fifth time we've been here and been postponed on the Jessica development. How many more times will we have to come here before this will all be said and done?
Well, and I'm going to kind of look towards legal. The developer can postpone it indefinitely. I mean, it can just keep going on and on until they're ready to have the case heard. Is that correct?
Yes, there, generally, a subdivision case has to be heard by the third time it's on the agenda. However, the applicant can extend that time period by requesting a postponement of the case. It may be worthwhile for you all to look at the staff report prior to coming and see if postponement has been requested, and contact staff and contact the attorney for the developer. So that way you all know if the case will actually be going forward, so that you all don't have to come out if in fact it's going to be postponed. And I know that Mr. Morone would be happy to work with you all so that you can have that information rather than having to come month after month.
Well, is there a number of times, a limit to the number of times this can be postponed before a decision is made on it?
Not if the request for postponement is coming at the request of the applicant themselves.
Okay.
The board can decide not to postpone a case, but there's not a maximum number of times that it can be postponed.
So it could be postponed until nobody shows up, and then it passes, and then we're screwed.
You can contact the attorney right there.
Yeah. Let's contact Mr. Morone, or you can contact our staff, but the best thing would be to contact Mr. Morone.
What I would suggest, and certainly I don't want these people to have to come out for no reason again, so I will give this gentleman my number. I would also, if he's willing, I'll take his number. I'm usually the first one that knows if we're going to be requesting a table, and I would be more than happy that if we make a request to table, at the same time, I'll be happy to let them know so that they won't have to come out again unnecessarily. I believe that we will be ready to go forward next month. This is not an exact science, and if it turns out that we are not ready to go and we're going to request the table, I certainly would have no problem letting them know ahead of time so that they don't have to waste their evening coming out.
And if I'm not notified by you and the meeting goes through and we're not here, what happens then?
Well, they would always,
Our position is not presented in front of this board for
Sure.
what we think should go on.
all I can do is notify. Certainly, if there's a decision made, there's an appeal process. There are a lot of steps that have to take place before any of the development could be put in, which you're aware of, so there are many safeguards that are built in. But all I can do is agree to notify the people that give me their numbers, which I'm happy to do.
Okay? Yes, ma'am.
Can we get a copy of what they're waiting on, the traffic studies?
You can put a public records request in. The public request form is on the parish website. Submit that to the email address, prr@sttamanyparishgov.org, and you can get that information. And the sooner you do that, the quicker we can turn that around for you so that you have that information prior to the next zoning commission meeting. I'm sorry, planning commission meeting.
Okay? All right, this is item 12, cases 2023-3375-PP, Providence Park subdivision, phases 2 and 3, developer owner, Tower Capital Corporation, engineer, is Novus Reeb Engineering LLC. Parish Council District Representatives, Honorable Martha Casabon. General location, the property is located on the east side of Louisiana Highway 1077, north of US Highway 190, Covington, Ward 1, District 3. It's been postponed 2 times, June 13th and on July 11th. Commissioner McInnes.
No representative here as well? Is that Mr. Morone? Okay.
Paul is.
Is this one a request to postpone?
I'm sorry, is it my time to respond?
Yes.
This case, we believed we were ready to go. I received a call from Councilperson Casabon yesterday asking that we request that the matter be tabled. She would like us to have a meeting with some of the residents that she has set up for this Thursday. She'd like for us to have that meeting before we present to you all. So at her request, we're requesting the table this evening so that we can comply with what she's asked us to do, so that we can have that meeting before you all are asked to make a decision on our case.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Nell, you got anything?
Yeah, that was my understanding, is that there was going to be a community meeting with Goodby Civic at the fire station in Goodby, and that Parish Engineering was going to be there to talk about that new, is it a detention pond, retention pond, big pond, in that area, as well as the Providence Park. So I moved to postpone
For 1 month, right? For 1 month,
for 1 month.
okay. Commissioner Gaines,
Second.
second by Commissioner Gaines. Any further discussion? Please vote.
The motion to postpone for 1 month carries.
Number 13 on the agenda, 2023-3377 Crosswind Cove, request to postpone for 1 month.
Okay. Case numbers 2023-3377-FP, Crosswind Cove subdivision, developer owner is Summerview Development LLC. Engineer surveyor is Hyde Tide Consultants LLC. Parish Council District Representatives is Honorable Arthur Laughlin. General location, property is located on the west side of Airport Road, north of Meadows Boulevard and Interstate 12, Slidell, Ward 9, District 11. This was postponed at the July 11th meeting, and staff is also requesting, as well as the council person, that this be postponed. Mr. Shane.
Good evening. Jeff Shane of the Jones Fussell Law Firm, P.O. Box 1810 in Covington, representing Summerview Development, the developer of Crosswind Cove. We concur with staff and the councilman's request that this matter be postponed this evening. The good news we deliver is that we believe all of the work that is requested in the 7 items in the staff report has been completed. We really have not formally submitted that data to staff, although we did send them data today as it relates to all 7 items. So hopefully we will be in a position next month to come before you with a clean, or as close to clean as possible, staff report, seek final at that time.
Okay, 1 month?
Yes, sir, 1 month. And I'd also like to ask if there's anyone in the audience this evening that's here on this case.
Okay. Is anyone in the audience here to hear this Crosswind Cove subdivision? I don't see any, Jeff, so I'll bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Crawford?
Motion to postpone for 1 month.
Motion by Commissioner Crawford to postpone for 1 month. Commissioner Gaines?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gaines. Please vote.
The motion to postpone for 1 month carries.
Item number 14 on page 3, 2023-3367 FP, Spring Haven subdivision, request to postpone for 1 month.
Okay. Case is 2023-3367-FP, Springhaven subdivision phases 3A and 3B. Developer owner Springhaven LLC. Engineer surveyors Kelly McHugh and Associates Incorporated. Parish Council District Representative Honorable Michael Loreno. General location, the property is located south of Springhaven Lane, west of Dummy Line Road, north of Highway 22, Madisonville, Ward 1, District 4. This was postponed at the June 13th meeting. Mr. Morone.
Thank you, Mr. Doherty. In this case, I understand that all of the work has been completed, but the work was completed right about the time that we needed to make, Mr. McHugh needed to update all of the as-built and make the submittal to the parish. There wasn't enough time for him to do that, to make that submittal timely. So we weren't able to get to the staff before their deadline. So we needed an additional 30 days to be able to get those as-built to the staff so they can review them and then present the report to you all for next month.
Okay, thank you. Anyone in the audience here to hear this case? Seeing no one, I'll bring it back to the commission. Commissioner McInnes.
I move to postpone for 1 month.
Motion by Commissioner McInnes to postpone for 1 month. Commissioner Crawford.
Second the motion?
Second by Commissioner Crawford. Please vote.
The motion to postpone for 1 month carries.
And on page 4, item 16, 2023-3453 FP, Oak Alley Meadows.
Okay. Case is 2023-3455-FP, Terabella subdivision, phases 1A-12,
Next one, 16.
16? All right, excuse me. I had that one marked as incomplete to postpone as well. Ellen? Okay, so it's not incomplete. Okay. All right, we'll go to item 16. That should be the case that is requested to be postponed. It's item 16, 2023-3453-FP, Oak Alley Meadows subdivision, phases 2 through 4. Developer owner, Oak Alley Meadows LLC. Engineers, Jeff Wilson Engineering LLC. Parish Council District Representatives, Honorable Martha Casabon. General location, the property is located north of US Highway 190, west of Louisiana Highway 25, Covington, Ward 3, District 3. Mr. Shane.
Thank you. Jeff Shane, Jones Fussell Law Firm, P.O. Box 1810 in Covington, representing the owner and developer. We're simply not close enough. We've taken care of some of the comments, but there are others that need to be addressed. I do think we will be in a position to go forward next month, so only a 1 month postponement would be appreciated.
Okay.
And again, if you could sound the audience to see if there's anyone here of interest.
All right.
Thank you.
Anyone in the audience here to hear this case? Seeing no one, I'll bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Crawford.
Motion to postpone for 1 month?
Motion by Commissioner Crawford to postpone for 1 month. Commissioner Seeger.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Seeger. Please vote.
The motion to postpone for 1 month carries.
All right. Ellen, anything else?
No other request.
All right. All right, we'll back up to the item 1. This is entering parish right-of-way, servitudes, easement, and Tammany trace. Request to enter the parish right-of-way for the Center Point Boulevard, developer owners Weyerhaeuser Real Estate Development Company. Engineer surveyors Richard C. Lambert Consultants LLC. Parish Council District Representatives Honorable James Davis. General location, the property is located on the east side of Louisiana Highway 434 and north side of Interstate 12, Lacombe. On the paperwork, it's got Ward 7, District 11. I think that should be District 7, right? Okay, and if y'all will make that correction, I'd appreciate it. Mr. Shane.
Good evening. Jeff Shane, Jones Fussell Law Firm, P.O. Box 1810 in Covington. I have the pleasure of representing Weyerhaeuser, which is the developer of Tammany. And as the letter of Mr. Zimmer dated July 11 in your packet indicates, this is a simple extension of an existing road that will service more property. We want to extend the road through the Center Point Boulevard to connect with Legends Boulevard. We understand we've got to meet all applicable parish requirements with regard to the right-of-way. We're certainly prepared to provide the insurance requirements, hold harmless, et cetera. So we would appreciate you granting permission so that we can extend this road. If any of you have any questions, I'll be glad to address them at the appropriate time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shane. Anyone in the audience wish to speak on this item? Seeing no one, I'm going to close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Crawford.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Crawford to approve. Commissioner Gaines.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Gaines. Any further discussion? Please vote.
The motion to approve carries.
Okay, thank you. All right, we go to item 3. Case is 2023-3452-MSP, minor subdivision of 8.251 acres tract into parcels A1 and A2. Owner and representative, Gerald Magella Rideau and Lisa Rideau Garza. Surveyors J.V. Burks and Associates. Parish Council District Representative, Honorable Jerry Bender. General location, the property is located on the east side of Manegra Road, south of Bayou Liberty Road, Slidell, Ward 9, District 12. Good evening.
Hey, good evening. My name's Travis Thompson.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
I'm sorry?
Let me get staff's comment.
The applicant is requesting to create 2 parcels from an 8.251 acre parcel, and the minor subdivision request requires a public hearing due to parcel A2 is proposed to be accessed from a 35-foot private drive, and the applicant is requesting a waiver to construct the 35-foot access servitude and a required drainage prior to building permit being issued on parcel 2 instead of prior to the plat being recorded. And the request shall be subject to the below comments, items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Okay, thank you. All right, your name was Travis?
Correct.
First name was Travis?
Travis Thompson.
Thompson, okay. All right. Did you fill out a speaker card?
I did not.
Okay, I'll ask you to do that when you finish. All right?
Absolutely.
And go ahead.
Yeah, I understand what's being asked of me to make improvements to the road, and I'll answer any other questions y'all may have for me.
Okay. Is there anyone here in the audience that wishes to speak in favor on this item? Anyone wish to speak against? I'll close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner McInnes.
Yes, sir.
I don't see on the survey access to parcel A2. Am I missing that?
The access is actually the dotted line like this. So basically, this is an existing drive and these.
Yeah, okay. I figured it'd be there, but I just couldn't see it.
It's not as dark as.
Okay. And I was a little curious about in the staff report, it says items that are going to be requested of the applicant is provide information regarding proposed parcel A2 regarding the buildability of the parcel. And I noticed there's a canal in it.
Yep.
And so you want to comment on the buildability of
Sure,
parcel 2?
absolutely, yeah, there are buildings all around the place I'm looking to build at. So if you look at the survey, there's going to be a dock as well as houses on either side of the land that I'm looking to build on. So there's plenty of land there for me to build on, and I can demonstrate that with whatever the committee asks of me to do so, site plans or whatnot, before getting my building permit.
You would put more than one
Just one
home on parcel 2?
Correct. I'm sorry, I'm not sure what exactly you're looking at as far as parcel 2 is concerned. There's a plot, is that the one we're looking to get subdivided?
Parcel A2.
A2, yeah, I'm just looking to put one home there, correct.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
It just was an interesting request. Well, don't have any objections, so I move to approve
Okay, motion by Commissioner McInnes.
With the waiver.
with
to
the
approve
waiver.
With the waivers. Right?
With the waiver.
Okay, Commissioner Troncoso.
Sir, the portion of the survey that is not a part of the subject matter, does it have a easement right, a servitude right of access recorded?
My understanding is yes, it does.
Yeah. We'll just have to add the number, the recordation number to the plat.
Okay. And it is a separate lot of record.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll second.
You'll second, okay. Commissioner Crawford.
Just a question for legal. Since we have 8 commissioners tonight, when we're dealing with waivers, the vote has to be unanimous for a waiver to carry?
Correct. 8 votes, a 2/3 majority of the commission is required to approve any waivers. So because there are only 8 of you here tonight, it has to be a unanimous 8-person vote to approve any waivers
Okay.
on any of the cases on tonight's agenda.
Okay. All right, nobody's in the queue, so I'll call for the vote. Please vote.
The motion to approve with waivers carries.
Thank you. All right, we'll go to item 4. Minor subdivision of partial A and partial B-3B into partial A1, A2, A3, A4, and A5. The owners Brittany and Greg Kraus, Kim and Robert Ickelmod, Star Partners LLC, Vincent Centani Jr., Representatives Paul Marone, Surveyors Kelly McHugh and Associates, Parish Council District Representative Honorable Cheryl Tanner. General location, the property is located on the north side of Pratt's Road, east of Louisiana Highway 59, Beta Springs, Ward 10, District 6.
Mr. Chairman, we would like to request to hear the case under old business at the same time and vote separately. 2020-2110 MSP.
Do you have anything else?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, you'll have to vote to bring it up at the same time.
Pardon?
I would like to request to hear the case under old business at the same time, 2020
Oh, okay.
to
All right.
110 MSP.
It can be moved up at the discretion of the chairman as long as no one objects. However, he will need to read that case title into the record so that we can take it up.
Okay, this is under old business, item 17. Paul, do you have any objections? Is that, okay. All right, item 17, under old business, the case is 2020-2110, MSP, a minor subdivision of parcel B3, originally approved by the Planning Commission to be subdivided as parcels B3A, B3B, B3C, B3D, and B3E, amended, requested minor subdivision, parcel B3 into parcels B3A and B3B. Owner representative is Star Acquisitions LLC, Vincent Santani, and Kim and Robert Ecolmide. That's probably wrong. Surveyors Kelly McHugh and Associates, Parish Council District Representative, Honorable Sheriff Tanner. General location, the parcel's located on the north side of Pratt's Road, east of Louisiana Highway 59, Abita Springs, Ward 10, District 6. Staff?
If you take a look at the original approval of the minor subdivision that was done in 2010, parcel B3 was approved with one parcel along Pratt's Road and 4 other parcels to be accessed from a 35-foot private servitude in the rear. Later on, after the approval of the minor subdivision, a building permit was issued for the construction of a single-family residence on lot B3A. And later on, also, the owner requested or applied for a building permit to construct an accessory building. If you turn to the documents or the 2 surveys that I kind of distributed, stapled together, and I invite you to maybe separate the two so you can put them side by side. If you take a look at the one where we see 2 parcels here, B3, the building permit was issued for the construction of an accessory building, and the accessory building was actually constructed approximately 21 feet from the side property line. So basically, it's constructed in a portion of the access to the rear parcel. So we're here requesting an amendment to the originally approved minor subdivision to allow for the creation of parcel B3A and also the creation of parcel B3B, which would be accessed from an 11-foot access servitude or for the creation of a flag lot. If you also take a look at the next case here, which would be 2023-3459, the request here is to assimilate this 11-foot access into parcel A3, and also to create a flag lot, which would be approximately close to 11 acre, and it would also assimilate a parcel B3B. And the request is also to create parcel A1, A2, and A4. And, before we conclude, I'd like to go back, or we can go through questions, and maybe we can go through each case and identify the requested waivers for each case.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Roan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, Paul Marone, on behalf of Mr. Kraus. This is confusing, and I'm not sure if Helen did a very good job of explaining it. I understand it only because I've been working with her for months and months, so this is not the first time I've heard that. But I suspect for those of you that are hearing it for the first time, you may not have followed all those moving parts. So I don't want to confuse you by restating the facts, so I'll just add a few points to what Helen said. And again, it's important, as she said, to kind of have both the packages for the old business item and the new business item together so that you can try to follow it. If you start with the old business item, originally we began, or this property began in 2018 with just 2 parcels. We had a parcel A and a parcel B. In 2018, the commission re-subdivided parcel B into 3 parcels. and that is the plat that Helen has provided for you. And it shows, where is it? B1, B2, and B3. Okay? So that's where we began. Then in 2020, if you look in that same package, you will see a resub plat done by Mr. McHugh that creates 5 lots, B3A, B3B, B3C, B3D, and B3E. What's peculiar is that plat was approved by this commission. Lot B3A was sold, a house was built on that lot, and an accessory building was built on that lot, which Ms. Lambert just explained, and that accessory building was erroneously built within the servitude that provided access to the other lots. So that created a problem. To further amplify that problem, the plat that created these lots, these 5 lots, was never recorded. So you might ask yourself, well, how did the lot get sold? I really don't know. All I can tell you is what we have determined is that the lot was sold, the house was built, properly permitted, the shed or barn was properly permitted, but in the servitude. So we have a mess out there. So let's jump forward to the packet on the new business item. So what we are trying to do is clean up that mess, if you will, to the gentleman that owns the shed to remove his encroachment from the servitude. And Mr. Centani, who owns the other lots in the back, he's going to sell to Mr. Kraus, and that's where you see the plat that is in the last plat in the package for the new business item. The flag lot that was part of B3B is now assumed into and assimilated into A3. We have a new access point that has no encroachments on it that leads to parcel A5, which is a much larger lot. And then we are creating A1, A2, A3, and A4 as well. At the end of the day, what does this accomplish? One, it cleans up the problems that were created by the home and the selling of the lot that had a plat that wasn't recorded. It gets rid of the encroachment over the servitude. It provides access unencumbered to all of the parcels. All of that is accomplished by what we're trying to do here. At the end of the day also, you're not getting any additional lots out of this. If we look at the plat that was approved that the parcel was sold out of, it created 5 lots and then you had parcel A. So there were 6 parcels that were in play at that time. Once we go through all of these gyrations, at the end of the day, if you approve these requests, it will not only fix those problems that I mentioned, but you will still have just the 6 lots, the 5 that we're creating and the 1 where the house is. So the overall density is not changed. It's a reconfiguration of the checkers on the checkerboard, if you will, while fixing the many problems that unfortunately cropped up over the last several years out there. That's probably clear as mud to you. And I may have confused you even further. So with that, I will sit down, but I'll be happy to answer, and I know Ms. Lambert will as well, any questions that you may have on anything that we've said to try to explain what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish by these 2 cases. But I thank you for your consideration, and again, I'll be happy to answer any questions that any of you might have regarding anything that I've tried to explain. Thank you.
Okay, Paul. Anyone wish to speak in favor of these changes? I have 2 cards that wish to speak against. Kraus. The speaker's name is Charles Donovan. Okay, you wish to speak against?
May I explain?
Sure, come forward.
First of all, I want to thank all of y'all for allowing me the opportunity to get before you. I'm not necessarily against the development. However, I just learned a lot of things that was explained to me through.
Speak up a little bit.
I just learned a lot that was explained to me through these 2 parties. I can give you a little bit of history of I have an interest, I have 10 acres that jam up to Mr. Krause's land, okay? My mom has 4 acres and a house that sits adjacent to it, so basically north of these 2 properties. So my kids, her grandkids, have grown up back there, and then I'm in the works of building a house on, or getting approved to do plans to do a house on the 10 acres that I purchased. I was, a little bit of history, I was contacted approximately 6 months ago by Mr. Krause. He explained to me, look, I want to use that private drive that you have access to get to your land. He wanted to build 3 houses in the front and build himself a house and his mother-in-law a house, because the private drive could only use 1 residential access. At that time and to now, it doesn't matter to me, however you approve it, that's fine. My grave concern is, over the last couple years, with the raining that's going on back there, since Mr. Centenni or the Star Acquisitions have started building back there, and also other builders that are back there, what's going on is the water's developing back there. So now I can show you pictures back just as December, January, when we just get a hard rain, not even a major storm, where water is standing where it's never stood before. And the reason is because all the building that's going on the front side is pushing it to the rear side. So the other option, the other idea, which I don't know if there's anything to do about it, Pratt's Road, you're getting on the side of the road in the grass to allow another car to pass. So that is another thing that I think the board may need to consider. They need to look at Pratt's Road for the amount of traffic that's going up and down that road, and we really need to see where the water's going to in that area. And I am open. Look, I'm not policing another man's property, but please, I have a simple guy, I have a noble profession, and I don't have the money to hire companies to come back there to divert water off of my land. There was a builder that passed away already, built some houses back there on a private drive, 3 acres apiece. He put in a canal, so to speak, a large ditch that would stop the north water from coming into this land. Now we're getting the water to back up from the south side and wherever else. I'm not an engineer. About a month ago when they put the signs out here, I went to the engineering department just to see what was going on, because I've never been in this arena before. And I brought up some of my concerns. They told me to bring it here. So, listen, they want to make the money. They want to do whatever they want. I understand that it's their property. They want to make development. Please look at where or how they can help us with the drainage situation in Abita and in that area. And that's, so am I against it? I'm against it to a degree, but if that makes sense, okay?
Yeah. All right, Ted,
Do you have any questions of me?
yeah, I got Ted, a question for staff. That Pratt's Road, is that the Parish Road?
Yes, sir. It's kind of a unique one. It's parish maintained road, but it abuts the city limits or the town limits of the town of Abita. So, but it is in the maintenance system. Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Maybe that'll help solve some problem as, we'll get somebody out there and talk to you and everything. All right,
And if you need anyone to see pictures of when the storms come through, Pratt's Road now holds water. So when there's a hard rain, you're driving through water.
okay.
So in certain areas.
All
So
right.
they need to be aware of that.
If you don't mind asking, you went to the engineering department. Do you know who you spoke with?
I got his business card. I don't, it was a nice young man, and there was a lady. It was 2 people.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I do have their business card. I just don't have it with me right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna give you my email. If you can let me know, so I can attempt to coordinate with them.
Yes, sir.
See what they told you. See what they're working on,
Yep.
and see where we can go from there.
Yeah, we pulled it up on the map. We showed everything. The engineer, he had concerns, but he knew that wasn't, it's practically wetlands back there.
Yes, sir.
You know.
Yeah, I'll get you my information.
Okay. Anyone
Okay,
else?
so you're gonna get some information, Ted?
Yeah.
Okay. Is this something we may need to postpone for a month? Ted, is this something we may need to postpone for a month? Are you gonna be able to handle it without
I don't know that any of the infrastructure, the improvements going on with this minor subdivision have any bearing really on Pratt's Road itself. It sounds like there's a bigger issue there, which is why I'm gonna coordinate it with the engineering group upstairs.
Okay.
And along with Public Works. We can at least start with getting the ditches dug out there, seeing where all that water goes, and then take it from there with the engineering group upstairs. But I don't know that this subdivision has any bearing on the drainage along Pratt's Road itself.
Okay. Paul, do you have anything in rebuttal?
No, I would certainly respect the comments, and, you know, I would just point out, I think as Mr. Reynolds did, I mean, we're not putting any infrastructure in, we're not adding any new lots to the area per se, we're just reshuffling them around. We are, certainly, we're cognizant of the drainage concerns. Mr. McHugh, before any building permits will be issued or be sought, he'll have to do some engineering out there to determine, you know, how these lots will drain, where they'll drain, and what the patterns are out there. So we will certainly clue him in to the concerns. We share those concerns. We don't want to have problems. This is going to be Mr. Krause's, one of these, the large parts will be his residence. So we want to make sure that we don't adversely affect any of our neighbors. We want to make sure that our property is not adversely affected by anything. So we're certainly going to be cognizant of that. And to the extent that, you know, anything with Pratt's Road, if we can be a part of anything there, as any solution that the parish is working on, we certainly want to do that as well.
Okay. Do you have any further comments, sir? Okay, all right. We're in the rebuttal phase, and I just wanted to be sure before I moved on. All right, I'm going to close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Gaines.
I just have a general question, kind of a curiosity. So that there is a part of the plat redesign, there is a home that's currently in existence in the lot that's being subdivided, correct?
Correct. If you take a look at, there is an existing residence on Lot B3A with an accessory building.
And you guys have contacted that homeowner and have approval to do?
That's correct, and if I'm not mistaken, they're here in the audience.
Okay, just want to make sure, see if you have it represented. All right. Considering all that, I make a motion to approve.
Just a moment. I think it would be preferable if I would go through the requested waivers for each case, and it would have to be voted separately unless if legal has any other opinion.
No, and I think we should probably do the old business case first.
Yes, okay.
Do the waivers on that case and then come back and do the new minor subdivision.
So if we take a look at staff report for under old business 2020-2110 MSB, this is basically in front of you. Public hearing is due to Lot B3 was part of a minor subdivision approved in 2018. Lot B3B is proposed to be accessed from a flag lot, and it's located below the urban growth boundary lines, so requiring a waiver from the Planning Commission. And Lot B3B does not meet the minimum lot width or the minimum flag lot width of 30 to 60 feet, and requiring a waiver from the Planning Commission.
Okay. So we need to move on item 17 with the waivers.
I make a motion to approve with the waiver.
Okay, thank you.
Do I need to state the case?
Commissioner Troncoso.
No, I'll pass.
Commissioner Seeger.
I have a question. Paul, can you tell us what kind of, is this a movable structure, this shed? Is it stick-built? Is it brick? What is it made of?
It's a metal building.
It's a metal building on a concrete slab.
So it cannot be
Cannot-
easily moved?
No, cannot be easily moved.
I second the motion that was made.
Make a motion to what?
Second.
Second, with the waivers, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second with the waivers on item 17, which is 2020-2110-MSP. Is that right? Yes. Please vote.
The motion to approve with the waivers carries.
Okay?
And if we're moving on to the original case, 2023-3459 MSP, the minor subdivision request requires a public hearing due to parcel B3B was part of parcel A3 and was part of a minor subdivision approved in December 2020. Parcel A3 does not meet the minimum lot width of 150 feet required under the A2 suburban zoning district and requiring a waiver from the Planning Commission. Parcel A4 is proposed to be accessed from an existing 30-foot access easement, needing a waiver from the Planning Commission, considering that the property is located below the urban growth boundary line. And parcel A5 is proposed to be created as a flag lot and requiring a waiver from the Planning Commission since the property is located below the urban growth boundary line.
Okay. Paul, you got any comments on this one?
Really nothing more. I mean, the comments that I gave before were for all of this, so this is just in keeping with what I said. The only thing that I would point out is there is the one staff comment here about a revised recorded servitude document. There is not going to be a revised servitude. There is an existing servitude document that provides that access, which I've already provided. I'll be happy to re-provide that to the staff for their file as well.
It will just need to provide the maintenance agreement, which I can email you a copy and then you can just sign it.
Okay, that sounds fine. No objection.
All right, the gentleman back there, Mr. Thompson, do you have any comments on this one?
Again, sir, these may be my neighbors soon and everything's good. So I don't, like I said, I'm not against it, so to speak, but I just want it to be smart.
Want to get it cleaned up and done?
We can do it, just be smart about it. Right now, I would like for y'all to have maybe assign an investigator, assign an engineer, look at the way the water's falling back there. And, it's definitely because of the growth that's going on, and now I think I'm confused because I had no idea all this other mess was going on that y'all had to clean up. So, and I apologize for that. All I'm concerned with is the more houses, the more you're bringing in dirt, and you're spreading it out in an acre apiece instead of 3 to 5 acre parcels or a larger parcel where and we're giving small lots, and it just that's not what we're aiming for back there.
Right.
But I mean,
Okay.
you're the board, so
Well, I think we're moving in the right direction now, and
I'll live with you.
and you will get with staff, or they'll come out and set something up with you and go.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
And sir, if I could just briefly, the way that the lots are currently laid out, you have, if your property is to the north, you currently have 3 legal lots abutting you. If this minor subdivision goes through, you'll only have 1 large lot abutting you.
Okay.
So rather than 3 different lots, you'll be backing up to 1.
Okay.
If this approved gets changed.
Again, I hadn't looked at all that. I'm just telling you, no matter what lots abutting up to you, the water's coming in from somewhere. And
Right.
it's where the water wasn't before. So that's common sense. I
Right.
mean, there's water there now. And then look, it's standing water. So it's coming from somewhere.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. All right, I'm going to close this to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Seeger.
Sir, I think that your comments were well received and well taken. The engineers, both the private engineers and the parish engineers, are going to look at those carefully before anything happens. It'll have to meet the parish codes, and they will definitely take that into consideration. But we appreciate your comments, and I move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Seeger to approve with the waivers, right?
Yes.
Commissioner Gaines.
I second with the waivers.
Second by Commissioner Gaines with the waivers. Commissioner McInnes.
Sir, could you come back up?
We're going to get you exercise tonight.
I just wanted clarification. You said you shared a right-of-way to your property?
Yeah, so, the best way to explain it is this little map, and maybe one of the ladies here could help me a little more, but on the back side of this property, there's a private drive right there. That private drive,
Okay,
there's 3
okay.
houses here. And then, from what I understand, you're allowed one house per, access, or one residence per acreage.
Well,
So on my 10 acres, of course, I get one residence back there. So you're splitting, unless you get a right of way from somewhere else, but you're splitting, I'm gonna build there. Got a nice plan design, but it's, it's one house for 10 acres. It's not gonna be 8 to 10 houses.
right, right. Okay, I was wondering if you were going across the property we were discussing.
No, ma'am.
And you're not.
It's on the side of it.
Okay.
The only reason I even knew anything about this is because I was contacted, asking if I would sign off to allow this, and I was told that everybody else around there signed off, and, I don't know how much validity there is to that.
Okay.
They're not here tonight, but,
All right, anything else now?
That was it, thanks.
Okay,
Okay, thank you. All right. We got a motion and a second with waivers. Please vote.
The motion to approve with waivers carries.
All right, we move to item 5, minor cases 2023-3460-MSP. It's a minor subdivision of an 12.06 acre parcel in the parcels A and B. Owner and representative is Harvey Hyde. Surveyor is Land Surveying LLC. Parish Council District Representative is Honorable Cheryl Tanner. General location, the property is located on the east side of Jesse Hyde Road, north of John Brule Cemetery Road, Covington, Ward 2, District 6. Staff?
The applicant is requesting to create 2 parcels from a 1 acre, 5 acre, and a 12.06 acre. And the reason for the request here that is in front of you here is because parcel B does not meet the minimum lot width of 300 feet required under the A1 suburban zoning district and requiring a waiver from the Planning Commission. And I give you a larger copy of the survey here, so you can see that basically they're taking 3 acres out of the 12 acres and creating 2 9-acre parcels.
Okay. Good evening. You are?
I'm Christy. Good afternoon, thank you.
Okay.
Just basically what Ms. Lambert said, just trying to get the approval for the right-of-way being less than the 300 designated foot that's required of the parish. We're purchasing the 3 acres in the back from my uncle and just trying to get the approval from the parish. Being that you have the survey there that I'm a little nervous. I haven't done this since high school. So, any questions that you have that I can
Okay.
answer? That
I
might
don't
be a
think
better
we
way to
got
go
any
about it.
questions yet, but we might.
Okay. Well, we own what's on the side already. You have the survey there. The 1 acre we just purchased, and then we already have the existing beside that of the 395 total across,
Okay.
including the 1 acre. And then the right-of-way is what we're asking for the approval of to get access to the 3 acres.
All right. Thank you. Let's see, anyone else in the audience wish to speak on this? All right, let me bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Seeger.
What is the frontage there on Jesse Hyatt Road? What is the, I guess that's for staff. Can't read the survey for that part.
Total now is 395 points, I can't make out the last 5.8 maybe.
Yeah, the portion that doesn't meet the minimum is L1, which is, trying to see.
It's 92 something.
Yeah, 92.5 feet.
Yes.
I move to approve with waiver.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Seeger to approve with the waiver. Do you have a comment? Okay. Commissioner McInnes.
I second it.
Second by Commissioner McInnes with the waiver. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Motion to approve with waivers carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, move now to item 6, 2023-3461-MSP, minor subdivision of 7.148 acres into parcels W1, W2, and W3. Owner and representative is Tammany Oaks Development LLC, Wayne Burris. Surveyors Kelly J. McHugh and Associates Incorporated. Parish Council District Representative, Honorable Michael Reno. General location, the property is located on the north side of Louisiana Highway 22, on the south side of Old Ponchatoula Road, and on the west side of Dutch Road in Madisonville, Ward 1, District 4. Staff?
The applicant is requesting to create 3 parcels from a 7.148 acre parcel. The minor subdivision request requires a public hearing due to parcels W2 and W3 do not meet the minimum lot size of 1 acre and requiring a waiver from the Planning Commission.
Okay, Mr. Morone.
Thank you, Paul Morone again, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. This time on behalf of Mr. Burris and Tammany Oaks Development LLC. This request for the re-subdivision is really driven by parcel W2, if you look at the plat. Parcel W2 is a well site for the Blackwater well, which provides water to a large part of this area. It's a well that is now owned and operated by the parish through Tammany Utilities. And they occupy that site pursuant to a servitude agreement that was put in place some years ago. So in Mr. Burris's attempt to try to sort of clean up the parcel from his perspective, he wanted to create a parcel for the well site so that it doesn't encumber any other portion of the property, which was the creation of W2. Once we created W2, it then, because of the nature of the layout, left 2 parcels remaining. The tip, which is W1, and then really the other usable parcel here, which is, W3 is the tip and W1 is the usable parcel, which is the larger parcel you see here, almost 6 acres. So we're requesting the creation of the 3 parcels to establish that well site, to get it out of the rest of the property, and then in doing so, we're leaving ourselves with the 2 remaining parcels. There is no intent or idea of anything that he will do with those parcels. I did ask him about parcel W3 because of its unique size, shape, and so forth. That is likely to end up as simply green space. I'm not sure that it's usable for much. Maybe another utility site if AT&T or somebody else wanted to put a pedestal there or something along those lines. But there's not much room for any other use there, so it likely becomes green space. But this would free up W1 so that it could come into commerce at some point in time and not be encumbered by the well site. With regards to the waivers, unfortunately the parish really only has 2 methods by which you can create a re-subdivision of property. One is what we're doing here. The other is the full subdivision process. So we could file tentative and preliminary and final and get to the same place, but there's no infrastructure. We're not putting in any roads. It really doesn't seem to fit the full subdivision process. So it seems respectfully that the waivers here would be appropriate, and I would ask for your consideration of the request. Any questions that you may have, I'm happy to try to answer them at the appropriate time.
Okay, thank you, Paul. I do have, is anyone else there in the audience that wishes to speak in favor? All right, I've got 3 cards here where folks are wishing to speak against. The first one is on The speaker's name is Brownwin Doyle, and he's concerns about traffic, water runoff, culture of parish, wildlife, and woods conservation. Good evening.
Good evening, how are y'all? Thank you for hearing me, Commissioners. So I really know very little about, and just learned from this gentleman about the proposed changes. It does seem a little odd to have that little tip left out there and not just do two plots. But I'm fairly new to the parish. I moved from Baton Rouge 2 years ago. And what I absolutely love about Madisonville and St. Tammany Parish is the fact that it is wooded, that we've kept that sort of St. Tammany culture, right? I drive by cows on my way to work at St. Tammany Health System every morning. And so I'm always concerned when a new subdivision could be cropping up right in my back door. I live on Silk Lady Lane, right off of Old Ponchatoula. And I don't know if y'all have ever been around there, but we have a tremendous amount of traffic. On Highway 22, of course, y'all know how much traffic there is there. But Old Ponchatoula is quite a through street, particularly during school. I'm a little, nervous that school's about to start back up because people go flying down Old Ponchatoula. I recognize this is not a request to build or create a subdivision in particular, but I want us to be mindful as a parish, which is why I came to speak to you today, about creating too many subdivisions that could be built upon. So just wanted to offer those comments.
Okay, thank you. And I have Cliff Anders. He has a comment on subdivision with small lots, an area where many lots on 4+ acres with diminishing drainage and continued development may be detrimental.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen. My sentiments are the same as Ms. Doyle. So when you explain it's going to be a subdivision and remain green space, that's not of concern. But what would be of concern with, besides, I totally understand the proposal of this subdivision now, learning it here. So it was good to come and learn it. That's one thing. Two, being an environmental science, forest resource management background for myself and looking at it, I pay attention to the terrain. My wife and I rented in Madisonville for 2 years before we found a home that we wanted to buy. And we purchased in that area because of the elevation and because of the drainage. And Route 22 on the south side, when you look at it, when you think that somebody's going to develop a house and you look at them putting compacted and non-porous dirt in the foundation and all that good stuff there, and how much of a rise there would be, that was the concern for me. So knowing that there's no structures now, that's fantastic if it's green space. But if they're looking to do something in the future with any of the larger lots, the upslope on the north side of 22 to get up to the road and where it's going to push the water, and our primary drainage is only one direction, which is the little Black River, which is actually kind of a bayou, and how it gets to the south side of 22, there's only one way it can go. And seeing all the flooding that we've had with Hurricane Ida and then the floods that we had in 2015 and 2016, just with a low pressure system that sat over us for about 2 or 3 days. I mean, it's a massive look to see if you could do something with it without making such a rise overrun platform to put a business or a gas station or something in that area. So hearing that it's a green space is a relief, but if you're going to look at it in the future for development, it's probably not a good area because of the infrastructure that's already there and what he's talking about. So I appreciate it. Appreciate the information. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, then you wish to speak, ma'am? Good evening.
Hello, I'm Jackie Anders. Bronwyn and my husband have done a wonderful job of voicing concerns. My only additional comment would be regarding safety of any potential houses that may be built there in the future. As Bronwyn mentioned, Old Ponchatoula Highway is still somewhat a very rural part of the county. We love it. But finding an area to safely offload children from a school bus would be problematic. Dutch Road does flood. We were very thankful it flooded. It held all the water so that we could continue to get out of Old Ponchatoula Highway after Hurricane Ida came through. So we just want to be very mindful that whatever future building may happen as a result of this subdivision, that it's not going to impact the neighbors nor the future homeowner. I'd hope that someone would speak on my behalf if I ever have intentions of purchasing the lot and building on it. So,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
All right, Mr. Morone, you have any rebuttal?
Just briefly, I would just point out, I certainly respect the concerns and their comments. We are, as we stand here tonight, we have one parcel there that is usable. If the re-subdivision is approved, we have one parcel that's usable. We're not really adding any density to the area. We're really just segregating out the well site, which is already there and already developed and already in use. And then again, we have the tip parcel that I'm calling it, which is really going to end up being a green space parcel because of I'm not sure that you could, once you have setbacks, I'm not sure what you could build there, like I said, other than perhaps some type of utility use or something like that. But we're not really adding any additional lots. We're really taking and cleaning up and getting that well site so that it has its own parcel and is not part of the larger tract. So I respectfully request your consideration this evening with the waiver set forth in the staff comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, y'all have any rebuttal? Okay. All right, I'm going to close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Crawford.
Okay, excuse me. Yeah, Paul, when I first saw this and saw the lot sizes did not meet the 1 acre, obviously was wondering why, but now it makes sense. Quick question, it looks like there's a roadway entrance to the well site, I guess, and there's a marker A. Is that the well, or what is the A designation? At the
I believe that is not the well. So the well, you see the number 2?
Yes.
That's the well.
That's the well, okay.
I believe what that A is, that square by the A, I believe that's a Bell South terminal.
Okay.
The reason I say that, if you look below it, it references the Bell South servitude. And so I think that's what that's referring to there.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Another question, I see what you're doing with the property, makes total sense. Just for everybody's, to reiterate, this property is zoned NC2, so it's a neighborhood commercial property. Typically, you wouldn't have houses built there. And we use the word subdivision because we're subdividing the property, but it doesn't mean a subdivision like houses going in there necessarily at this point in time. Obviously, parcel W3 with setbacks, you probably wouldn't be able to do anything with that, except maybe, like you said, a small tower or something. What about the zoning on the parcel W2 once it's cut out? Is the NC2, I guess that's a question for staff, is NC2 a well permitted, parish
Yes.
well?
Yes, it is.
It is, okay, so nothing needs to be done there. Okay, well, I'll make a motion to approve with the waivers.
Motion by Commissioner Crawford to approve with the waivers. Commissioner Troncoso.
Paul, question regarding the Old Ponchatoula Highway asphalt. Is that an active road?
Yes.
I know the area generally, but I didn't get a chance to visit the site. It is an active
Yes.
road.
Yes.
So that cuts down the tip even more from a usability standpoint.
Correct.
As well as the Dutch Road is also an active road.
It is.
What are those, servitude rights over the property?
Essentially, yes. Those, you see this in certain rural areas of the parish where roads were put in and then were maintained, and through that maintenance over the years, the parish has created or obtained those servitude rights.
Right. They don't have the ownership of it. They
Correct.
just,
That's correct.
Okay. I'd second Mr. Crawford's motion
With the waivers.
with the waiver.
Commissioner Seeger.
I have a question for staff. The question about water crossing 22 to egress from the north to the south has been brought up on several cases over the past few months. Are there any plans to install more culverts in that area? Do we know anything about that?
Off the top of my head, I don't know any projects actively on. I know we have a couple of projects for some roundabouts on 22, some Highway 22 improvement projects that are actually all being performed through the state because Highway 22 is a DOTD route. But I can certainly look into if we have any parish projects in the area, but I don't know of any off the top of my head other than the ongoing state route, active projects for the state right now.
Thank you, and I'll call for the vote, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Anything else, Tom? Okay. Commissioner Rest.
Yeah, I guess I understand what you're doing. I just don't understand why we're just not making W2 and W3, just W2, one lot, and turn it on. I mean, I understand there's a value to the property and the owner. The only thing I'm thinking is if you put any utility there all beyond what's already there, that means somebody's gonna have to be coming on or off 22 or Old Ponchatoula into that property. If you had even a tower, or I can't see a tower going there because it's, but a utility servitude for, I just feel like it should all just be one piece, and that's the water well and access. I don't know, I'm struggling with why keep that 7/10 of an acre.
Well, the only thing I would say is that the water well site was pre-established. It was established when the well was put in many years ago. So all we did was the site that the parish has and the occupancy and use of, that is what you see as the water well site. And so when we created that site, based on where their footprint is, it gave rise to what is W3. And so we didn't feel like we should include that within the same parcel that the parish has, because the parish has no rights to W3. They only have the rights to W2, and so that was our thought process behind it, knowing that it likely W3 will continue to probably be green space.
All right.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second with waivers. Please vote.
Mr. Rest, Ms. McInnes? The motion to approve with waivers carries.
All right, let's see. Re-subdivision review, item 8 was withdrawn. We'll go to item 9.
3463.
Which one?
Number 7.
7. Okay. I'll do that. I don't know. I'm skipping here. All right, we go to item 7. Case is 2023-3463, MSP, minor subdivision of 9.49 acres into parcels 1, parcel 2, parcel 3. Owner representative is John Messer Jr. Surveyor is J.V. Burks and Associates. Parish Council District Representative Honorable Cheryl Tanner. General location, the property is located on the southeast corner of Louisiana Highway 41 and John Messer Road, north of Allen Crawford Road, Pearl River, Ward 6, District 6. Staff?
The applicant is requesting to create 3 parcels from a 9.49 acre parcel. The minor subdivision request requires a public hearing due to parcel 1 does not meet the minimum lot width of 150 feet required under the A2 suburban zoning district and requiring a waiver from the Planning Commission.
Okay, is someone here to speak on this item? Yes, sir, come forward. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, I'm John Messer, and I think the waiver was for the right-of-way on the southern boundary. Instead of 60 feet, it's 86 feet for a natural gas access. I have a natural gas meter at the southwest corner right by Highway 41. And on the southern boundary, we have 60 feet of wooded area. The southern boundary is wooded, and it has a thickness of 60 feet. So the 86 feet makes it easier to run a natural gas line along the edge of it. It's never been cut. It's trees and it's full of thickets. It's trenching through it would be very difficult. We left it the southern boundary, the 700 feet, completely wooded and thick, so we wouldn't see our neighbors to the south.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else wish to speak in favor? Anyone wish to speak against? I'm going to close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Crawford.
Yes, sir. Question. So what you're doing, you've got this 9.5 acre property, and you're making 2 lots in the front of it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and keeping the big piece, I
Yes,
guess,
that's where my house is.
for your residence?
In the
Okay.
back.
Okay. And we have 86 feet where it looks like, almost like a flag lot or so. So I make a motion to approve with the waiver.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Crawford to approve with the waivers. Commissioner Troncoso.
A second with the waiver.
Second with the waivers. Sir, do you have anything else you needed to say?
Yes, sir. I had a question. I had the survey company do the survey, and the parcels 2 and 3. It says that they're 1.5 acres each, but they're actually 1 2/3 acres each. It doesn't show that on the survey, so I just had a question about that. Would that be a problem later?
Probably would. I would get with the
Burks.
surveyor.
Is it because it's mislabeled?
I think it's, they have it labeled 1.5, but according to the numbers, it would be 1 2/3 acres actually for the dimensions that are on here.
As long as the configuration doesn't change, it's just a correction that will have to be done.
Okay, and I would have to have it done at Burks and Associates?
Yes.
Okay.
You're welcome to call me tomorrow if you have any questions.
Does it matter to you, to the parish, if it's?
Yes, well, they will have to resubmit a new survey because there's a signature line missing on it.
Okay, do I have to write another check to the parish or the clerk of court?
There's no additional check. It's just that they will need to amend it, but I'm going to send you an email as well as an email to JV Burks to make sure that they're aware of the request, to make the changes.
Okay, originally it was going to be 1.5 acres, and it was going to come back 275 feet from Highway 41 along John Messer Road. And they had the stakes in place, and then they added an extra 30 feet to the backside. And I don't know why they did it. And then when I got the final draft, I looked at it, and I saw the stakes had been moved, and then I calculated the square footage, and I said they took it from 1.5 to 1 2/3 acres, but I don't know why they did it. I thought, well, it's okay, I'll sell it like that, but it's mislabeled.
Okay, so then we'll ask them to relabel it and also to add the signature line for the chairman of the planning commission. So I will send you an email to that effect as well as to JV Burks.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Okay. That answered your questions?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We have a motion and a second with waivers. Commissioner Seeger, you had a comment?
I have a quick question. Is this property not accessible from John Messner Road?
It is accessible from John Messer Road. Parcel 2 is, and parcel 1 is.
So then it does meet the necessary it does meet the necessary width. I don't understand why we're dealing with the width when it is accessible from that road.
Because it doesn't meet the minimum lot width along Highway 41. It's a fact that it meets it along John Messer, but not on Highway 41.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. We have a motion and a second with waivers. Please vote.
The motion to approve with waivers carries.
You said on Highway 41, it doesn't meet, what is it that it doesn't meet on Highway 41?
Do you remember we discussed that?
The right-of-way?
Yes,
Just the right-of-way?
Yes.
That's all you meant?
but you were granted this variance.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, we go now to 3464?
Yes.
Okay. Case is 2023-3464-MRP, re-subdivision of parcel 1 into parcel 1A, 1B, 1C, D, 1E, 1X, and Pond Parcel 1, Gulf South, Commerce Park, Phase 1A, Wadsworth subdivision. Owner and representative, Crosby Development Company LLC, John Crosby. Surveyors, J.V. Burke and Associates Incorporated. Parish Council District Representative, Honorable Riker Toledano and Honorable James Davis. General location, the property is located on the north side of interstate, or the intersection, not interstate, intersection of Louisiana 1088 and Interstate 12, Mandeville, Ward 4, District 5 and 7. Staff?
The owner is requesting to create 7 parcels. The public hearing is required considering that as stated in the restrictive covenants of the approved plat, no lot shall be further re-subdivided without approval from the Planning Commission, and the request shall be subject to items 1 and 2.
All right, thank you. Good evening, Mr. Crosby.
How are you tonight?
All right, I think.
Well, any questions? It's really 4 main parcels. The other list of parcels, are little tidbits of property we have left over that we're going to deal with later. But we're subdividing 92 acres into 4 parcels that are going to be a part of the Gulf South Commerce Park. And we have 2 of them committed already to projects that are going to hopefully get out of the ground before the end of the year. So but these are the types, the smallest one is 8.5 acres, goes up to 14 acres, 20 acres, and 30 acres. Those are the types of sizes we're dealing with on these parcels. Building sizes between 200,000 and 350,000 square feet. Economic development, jobs, that's what we're doing.
Okay, all right. Thank you, sir. Let's see if anybody else wants to speak either for or against. I don't see anybody coming forward. Paul? No comment. All right. Let's see, we're going to close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner McInnes.
One question for staff, PUD zoning? As in the regular kind of PUDs we see all the time?
It is part of the Wadsworth PUD.
Well, I can answer that one quick. This PUD was designed a long time ago when this was going to be residential property.
Okay.
And partially residential, partially commercial. So this was 20 years ago. And so we stuck with the PUD has its advantages, it has its disadvantages, but so we still have to operate under the PUD agreement. And it was changed, the original uses under the PUD were residential for the piece that we bought, the 92 acres, but that was changed when Kevin Davis was parish president. When we bought it, it was already changed to commercial, and then we modified it further to make it more of the AML uses. So we have to follow the PUD rules, which has its advantages, has its disadvantages. But
I guess I didn't know PUDs could be commercial as well as residential. Okay. And then, critical drainage, parish determined critical drainage. Is that
That's-
Bayou Castine?
No, that's still under discussion. We dispute that it's in a critical drainage area. It's not Bayou Castine, it's the northern part of the property. So, we're not gonna get into that right now, I don't think, huh, Teddy?
Well,
No, our engineers and their parish engineers have a difference of opinion on where that line is. And let's just say if it was the parish's way, it would be the very tip part of the property, going northwest, not Bayou Castine. But, that's not where the line is. We're still talking about
yeah.
that.
Well, actually, Bayou Castine is the part I would be.
I'm sorry?
Bayou Castine is the part I'm most interested in.
Yeah, but that's nothing to do with the critical drainage issue.
But isn't that where it drains ultimately?
That's what,
is
the majority of the property does drain that way, that's
yeah.
right. But that's part of why we're
So
disputing what.
you promised me in the past about green or permeable pavement or green construction. I'm gonna hold you to that.
I know, that's what I'm doing with these, so what we're doing is developing the sites and working with these development companies that gonna do the buildings, and believe me, I'm holding them to it.
All
And
right,
when you
that's
see their
great.
building permit applications, you're gonna see those features.
Okay. Well, I have no issues here, so I'll move to approve.
Okay, motion.
Do we
by-
have waivers or anything?
No, there's no waivers on it.
Okay.
We have a couple little tweaks to do on the plat, but we've already gone through this, not a problem, just a couple minor, couple of labeling terms, that's all.
Okay. Do you want to tell us what they are now so that Ellen can get
I
them?
mean, it's on, I think it's in the staff report already, actually.
Okay.
We have to label one section of it, not a part. We have to take one word out of the description of the servitudes. And we're changing at the end of the street called Gulf South Parkway, we had it originally as a temporary cul-de-sac, this was dead end, but it interfered with the detention pond, so we changed it to like a T-shaped turnaround, that's all. And that's just temporary anyway.
Okay, all right.
We'll submit it, I was waiting until the meeting was over to submit a new plat to make sure there weren't any other changes.
Okay. Nell, you're finished? Okay, Mr. Crawford?
We got a motion to approve?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, I'll second that.
Second by Commissioner Crawford. Commissioner Ress?
Yeah, I have a question for staff. Tell me about this pond a little bit that's already on location.
What you wanted to know? It is a pond that's existing. It was a part of the original work order that was issued with the Wadsworth property way back, I want to say maybe in 2008. I might have that date wrong, but there was a work order issued and this property recorded and final approval, and some of the infrastructure was in place with that. That pond exists right now as the on-site detention for the Wadsworth development. These 92 acres that you see right now, they are actively submitting a site work permit because it's commercial property, to modify the pond shape and configuration, but not to lose any volume or detention capacity at all, which is ongoing and I think should actually be permitted.
It's actually permitted, we're starting work next week.
Yeah, you should have received it today. So that pond's on site because it was for the development. I think there's a long history of Wadsworth on if and why it didn't develop that. I don't know if it's pertinent to talk about here, but that's why you see a pond in the middle of the undeveloped site.
So that pond is part of that property now, is to be maintained by?
The HOA, yes, sir.
Okay, the developer, the parish hasn't taken over this pond or anything?
That's correct.
Okay. The other thing was, Mr. Crosby, I remember back when we were discussing all of this advanced logistics manufacturing stuff, and there was talk about a detention pond being put in, or retention pond, one or the other, south of of the interstate, that was gonna handle the drainage coming from this area. Has that changed since then?
Well, we still have the property available, and it's determined as we just study the drainage that area, that's not where most of the water goes. It's gonna still have an impact and still help, but it's gonna be part of the project when we do the overall project. but the majority of the drainage is going to go towards Bayou Castine.
So that one that was, you were looking at south of the interstate, was that the drainage towards Bayou Chinchuba?
That would be Bayou Chinchuba, that's correct. And it will, again, when you talk about the really, really high levels of water, when it gets, that's some of it is going to go there. And that's part of the overall drainage design.
Okay.
When you look at the whole, say you look at the whole 1,000-acre piece, that's when that comes into play.
So the piece that you're doing, does that mainly all drain to the north, is what you're saying?
No. This piece right here drains, actually, none of it really drains to the north. The 92 acres we're talking about
Yes.
drains, I would say, 75% to Bayou Castine, 25% to Bayou Chinchuba, depending on the levels of, a minor rain is going to go to Bayou Chinchuba. A major deal, some of it's going to go the other way.
Okay, and, because we have, the piece below there, which is a separate but part of this whole big plan, okay? I think that's the piece owned by a different group. And,
South of I-12?
No, the piece that was owned right below you, between you and I-12, is owned by a different.
Oh, they're
group.
talking ASBE?
Yes.
Yeah, well, their property's taken into consideration when we're doing the drainage design. That's all taken into consideration.
Okay, I'm just.
And the Love site, I mean, that's all part of the whole package.
Well, I happen to be on that path to the south,
Mhm.
and so I have a lot of interest in.
Along Bayou Chinchuba?
Yeah, so,
Well,
I guess as we move forward, that will be an area of concern.
My ultimate plan is to get the parish to buy that property from us and let them make their own detention. This is 40 acres. We'll make a good deal.
Well, I know at one point, there was a drainage study done in the parish, and one of them was to build a large retention pond on that leg of Bayou Chinchuba. And at one point, it was gonna be it was a discussion between putting it between Dove Park and Sharp Road. But that was without this property being, you're further to the north, more at the headwater of this drainage. So somewhere in there, somebody's gonna get the present, I guess.
We're gonna make a deal with the parish on that.
Okay. All right, thank you.
All right, legal, you got a comment?
Yeah, just very quickly, one of the staff comments was to note on the survey that parcel 5 is not a part of this
Yep.
re-subdivision. I also want to point out parcel W5 in the northeast corner, which looks like it's a wastewater treatment plant, may also just need to be designated as not a part of this re-subdivision when y'all go back to make those revisions.
It's not a part, but you know what, the next time we come, they want it to be a part because that W5 is owned by the parish. And at the last meeting I had with the staff, they wanted to designate that as a separate parcel. So we're gonna be coming back with, working with the ASBE group and with Loves for another re-subdivision of the southern part of the property that's gonna create, I know y'all have seen, I don't think the commission's seen it yet, the staff's seen it, to extend, you're familiar with the Loves situation, the road that's planned. Next time we come back, it'll be a re-subdivision, including our 30-acre piece to the south, some of ASBE's property, the Loves property, to create the Harvey Drive right away. And then I think what we'll do at that same time is include W5 as a separate parcel, because I think the staff asked us to do. It's not my property, it's really with ASBE, but we're all working together to make that work. But yeah, none of that's part of this subdivision, re-subdivision.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Crosby. Let's, I see no one else in the queue, so let's call for the vote. Please vote.
The motion to approve carries.
While I got your attention for a minute, we're gonna come back soon with a couple of little PUD amendments, just some little tweaks of some things we want to do, like involving the drainage and using the bioswales and those kind of things. And we've already again talked to staff about that. So hopefully we'll be maybe before you guys at a zoning meeting in September to talk about a couple of things like that. But it's be all good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Crosby. All right. we go to item 15? All right. Case is 2023-3455-FP, Terabella subdivision, phases 1A-12, developer owners Terabella Group LLC, engineer surveyors Kelly McHugh and Associates, Parish Council District Representative Honorable Marty Dean and Martha Casabon. General location, the property is located on the north side of Louisiana Highway 1085, west of Bricker Road, Covington, Ward 1, Districts 1 and 3. Staff?
Yes, sir. Periodic inspections have been made by this office during construction, and then final inspection was made on July 26, 2023. The inspection disclosed that all of the asphalt and concrete roads are constructed and the subsurface drainage is functioning. The following uncompleted items, numbers 1 through 5, existed at the time of final inspection and will be completed before plats are signed. Should the Planning Commission approve the request for final approval, a warranty obligation will be required for the infrastructure in the amount of 1,305 linear feet at $22 per linear foot for the asphalt roads, for a total of $28,710, and 2,480 linear feet at $25 per linear foot for the concrete roads, for a total of $62,000, for a total warranty obligation of $90,710 for a period of 2 years. Additionally, no mandatory developmental fees are required at this time, since the developer has entered into a voluntary developmental agreement and has paid all current fees in accordance with Council Ordinance Series Number 07-1511. The next payment will be due upon the filing for final plat for Phase 2. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Morone?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. I can report to you that items 1 through 4 have all been completed. We have the trench bedding and backfill test results. We have made the revisions to the final plat and the paving and drainage plan. Those have been submitted to the staff. They've not yet had a chance to review them, but they have those. We've also received the clear water test. The only outstanding item is the letter of acceptance from Tammany Utilities. We've requested that for several weeks now. We know it's coming, but that is an item we just don't have yet. I think some of the Tammany Utilities staff have been out of town, vacationing and other items, so we expect that any day. Everything is to them. There's no issues there. It's just a matter of issuing the letter. So with that, all of the items are completed, and we would respectfully request your approval of final subdivision for parcel 1A12 of Terabella.
Thank you, Mr. Morone.
Thank you.
Let's see, there's, Ross, you don't have anything to say, do you? All right, I'm gonna close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Rest.
Yeah, I have just a question for, I don't know if it's staff or legal. When we do developments in phases, are the restrictive covenants that are approved in the very first phase, are they automatic into the future phases, or can they be adjusted as phases go on?
I'm going to defer to staff on that one, and maybe Mr. Morone can answer that. This is not a PUD. This was developed as a major subdivision, so I don't know if it changes. I know for the PUD, they would continue through the PUD development in phases.
It is a PUD.
Oh, it is a PUD?
Terebella's a PUD.
Oh, okay. It is a PUD. Just it's not a T&D. That's where I'm getting confused. Okay. So as a PUD, I believe that this would carry through.
Yes, so when the original restrictive covenants were put in place, it encumbered the entire track. As it comes on in phases, all of those were encompassed within the description that it encumbers.
So whatever was approved back at the beginning is good the rest of the way through?
Yes, it will survive through all of the phases.
Okay.
Correct.
All right, I move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Rest to approve. Commissioner Gaines.
I second.
Second by Commissioner Gaines. Any further discussion? Please vote.
The motion to approve carries.
All right, we took care of the old business. I have a note here for solicitation of views, Keller Street Bridge replacement, and T. Baker Smith.
Yes, sir. Basically, what happened is I received a piece of mail from the engineering firm for solicitation of views based on environmental, I'm sure. It was addressed to the Planning Commission, so therefore I made copies, put it in your packet. And if you have any comments or questions, you should really reach out either as a group to me or directly to the engineering firm. However y'all would like to handle it, just let me know. I believe this is the first time I've run across this and presented the solicitation of views to the commission. So that's why it's in your packet.
Okay. Has everybody had an opportunity to review that?
I mean, look, you can take care of this at your leisure. You can reach back out with emails or whatever.
No action needed here.
No action needed.
Just fix the bridge.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to fix the bridge.
All right, we have a motion to adjourn by, okay. All right,
I have a comment, if you don't mind.
okay.
Relative to the Crosby development and developments like that, there's a lot of moving parts and parts to it. Things that staff knows that we don't know, at least, and let me caveat, I don't know, okay? Now, I came in 2023. This is a project that's been on the books and talked about and has been a subject for this commission for several years. Is there any way that we can get maybe a little more understanding on, and I don't know what method that would take, but somehow there's a lot of missing parts to this on my part, coming in late on this. Is there anything that we can do? Because as Mr. Crosby said, he's going to be doing amendments or changes and requests for changes relative to this, and it has an effect on the other parts of the development. And maybe it's just a matter that we take it one step at a time as it goes. But for some reason, in my mind, it would be nice to have a larger, broader scope. If you know what I'm saying. I don't know. Is there something that can be done that kind of give us a clearer picture?
But maybe, this development was approved in 2000, and it, there's a lot of changes that took place since the year 2000. So I will answer you in a way where you're welcome to make an appointment with us, and we'll be happy to go through from the year 2000 until today what happened.
No, I'm not talking about the history. Okay. We're at a point where the rubber's hitting the road here. And there are issues that are coming up that affect other parties, et cetera, and in the scope of the entire development. Because I'm kind of looking at it like that, more so than the Crosby piece and the Asby piece, Loves, et cetera. Again, yeah, I could go one-on-one and get a meeting with you, but I don't know. I think there's other people on this commission that would kind of like to get a clearer picture of it somehow.
I mean, if you'd like to put it under new business at the end of a meeting and maybe come up with some questions in particular or some points that you would like us as staff to explain, we'll be happy to do so. Maybe with a series of questions, it would be easier for us to address the points that you may have that are not clear or you have questions.
Possibly when the item comes up, that maybe maybe a little more information can be provided visually in a scope of the map and understanding where easements are. And Commissioner Rest brought up some very interesting things that I wasn't aware of relative to the drainage and the effect on Chinchuba and how that affects the drainage in that situation. So it's just, I'm learning something relative to it tonight that I didn't know. And we're talking about a subdivision, and I wasn't aware of all these other things
Yep.
that have been talked about.
If you wouldn't mind, I'd like to piggyback off Ms. Helen's recommendation. I think I've made it to a couple of the commissioners. I know me and Ms. Nelwyn have met a couple of different times. You get the reports and you get these packets the Tuesday before the meeting. So you have that week to review them, familiarize yourself with the case, know what's coming up. I've always encouraged any one of you guys to reach out and say, hey, number 12, number 13, number 14, Wadsworth, this, that, whatever it may be, has a lot of moving parts, has a lot of history, or just has a lot of questions that what's in this packet maybe is not really answering your questions that you're going to have coming forth to this meeting. Anytime you want to submit those questions to us, we're happy to do the research and happy to answer them. And if they result in a meeting, we're happy to schedule a meeting as well, which we've done in the past. And I don't want to speak for you, but I think they've been fruitful or beneficial. So we're happy to do that. I know we don't do that on every single case, because as you displayed on a bunch of them tonight, it's not necessary. Yeah, it's not necessary on every single case, but there are those cases that would require a little bit more. And we're happy to produce that. We just can't interpolate what you guys are gonna want in your packets until you guys let us know what you need in your packet.
Right.
So we're happy to do that. I hope
All
I
right,
kind of
well,
answered that question.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Gaines, do you have any?
I had one question, one more thing.
All right.
One more thing.
Troncoso?
No, me.
Crawford?
So, one thing that might help, this is a 1,000-acre property or something, and we've got AML in there, we've got some other things. If maybe we could see, the next time it comes up, just an overall with the existing zonings or whatever for the whole 1,000-acre piece. That might, and then we can ask questions like if you said, how'd that AML get there? You know, we could go back over, you know, when that came about. Just puts it all in perspective.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times when we see a map, we say, oh, where is this in the parish? And you've started adding those, and that's done a good job of explaining things for us. Okay.
Commissioner Reyes?
Yeah, sometimes you don't know what to ask until you see enough to, or hear enough to ask. So it's kind of like catch-22. But while we're talking about AMLs, we've talked about the 2040 plan, and we're waiting for seeing the optional plans on the AML. Who handles that?
So remember,
we weren't in favor necessarily of everything that was approved in the 2040, and we were told we had time to review it again later, and you were going to present some proposals so that we all understood. And of course, it'd be better if we had a full commission when we do that too, obviously.
that's fine. Yeah, I have no problem. Just remember that AML is a zoning, and we're talking about land use. So in land use 2040, it's manufacturing and logistics as a land use. We do have additional maps made. We definitely can present them to the commission. Emily, are there any legal reasons or anything that's sitting out there that with 2040 left?
I mean, the Planning Commission can revisit 2040 and can revisit the flume. I would just caution the commission that we are still in litigation over the adoption of the 2040 plan, and that's currently at the First Circuit Court of Appeals.
Okay, I was under the impression that was over, so.
Yeah, and I agree. I didn't know the status of it, so.
That's okay. I know, any anticipation of when we might be moving?
We have a hearing date at the First Circuit, I believe next Monday, and then, you know, it'll take a few weeks. Yes, that is next Monday, the 14th, at the First Circuit. It'll take a few weeks to months to get an opinion back from the First Circuit. The district court did uphold the 2040 plan, and the legal questions was not so much the legality of the plan itself, but whether that plan could be appealed to the parish council.
Okay, thank you. That's good.
Motion to adjourn for the third time. Do I hear it? I'm kind of waiting on you now.
Yes, we do.